Michelle was last seen in Holyoke, Massachusetts, sometime in November or December of 1988. At the time, she was living with her common-law husband, Michael Nicolo. According to those close to her, Michael was controlling and possessive, and Michelle's personality reportedly changed after becoming involved with him. The couple lived a transient lifestyle, moving frequently between states including Louisiana, Massachusetts, Virginia, Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Michael had previously served as a helicopter pilot in the Vietnam War. He was once charged, alongside 7 other crew members, with murder and attempted murder after allegedly firing on civilians. The charges were eventually dropped due to lack of evidence. Following his return to the U.S., Michael showed signs of severe post-traumatic stress disorder, including nightmares, flashbacks, and violent outbursts. He received treatment through the Department of Veterans Affairs and was awarded 2 Purple Hearts, 2 Silver Stars, and 2 Bronze Stars for his service. In August 1988, Michelle left Michael, taking their 2 children with her. She also had a child from a previous relationship, whom she left in the care of that child's father. Michael was enraged and began confronting her relatives, demanding to know where she was. Michelle told her mother she feared for her life, and warned that if anything happened to her, her mother should find Michael and rescue the children. Eventually, Michael located Michelle and convinced her to return. She vanished a few months later, shortly after attending her sister's wedding in November 1988. When Michelle's family went to check on her in December, they found her home abandoned. A Christmas tree had been set up with wrapped presents underneath, and the refrigerator was full of food. But there was no sign of Michelle, Michael, or the children. Oddly, the children's baby books had been left behind. A missing persons report was filed, but Michelle was never found. Years later, in 2000, Michelle's mother hired private investigator Lynn Marie Carty to find answers. Carty tracked Michael's movements through various states following Michelle's disappearance, including Florida and Virginia, where he had family. He sometimes traveled with the children, and at other times left them with friends or relatives. He offered conflicting stories about Michelle's fate, telling some people she had run off with a drug dealer and others that she had died. Eventually, Michelle's children were located and reunited with her family. In 2001, Carty spoke with Michael by phone while he was living in Lutz, Florida. Initially, he denied ever knowing Michelle. Later, he admitted to having been in a relationship with her but denied they were married. Again, he claimed she had left him for a Colombian drug dealer. When Carty informed him that she intended to share his phone number with Michelle's mother, Michael fled with his new wife, Aileen Nicolo, relocating to Georgia. In November 2005, Michael allegedly ran Aileen over with a car during an argument. While she returned to Florida to recover from her injuries, Michael reappeared on December 31, 2005, and fatally shot her and her adult daughter before turning the gun on himself in a standoff with police. After his death, authorities named Michael as a suspect or person of interest in multiple serious crimes, including a series of unsolved grape murders in the Connecticut River Valley. He is considered one of the top suspects in that case, and investigators plan to test his DNA for potential links. Michelle has never been found, and no one has been charged in connection with her disappearance. However, foul play is strongly suspected. Jonette Warner was last seen on July 11, 2023, in West Fargo, North Dakota. That day, she was working remotely and logged out of her virtual workspace at 2:30 p.m. She never logged back in the following day as expected and has not been seen or heard from since. When she vanished, Warner's Chihuahua/Terrier mix, Scooby, also went missing along with her purse and her vehicle, a gray 2017 Nissan Rogue, bearing a North Dakota license plate. Strangely, Warner's cell phone was left behind. Police were unable to unlock it, and no helpful clues were found on the device. Nearly a month later, on August 12th, her license plate number was randomly entered into a law enforcement database by a sheriff's deputy near St. Cloud, Minnesota. At that time, Warner hadn't yet been reported missing, so the vehicle wasn't flagged. The deputy did not recall any details about the vehicle or its driver. The circumstances surrounding Warner's disappearance remain unclear, and her case is still under investigation. Her bank accounts have remained untouched and local rivers were searched, but this case is still unsolved. Woodrow Taylor was last seen on December 13, 1997, at his home on Hucks Road in Conway, South Carolina. That evening, he left with a friend and was reportedly carrying $1,100 in cash. According to the friend, he dropped Taylor off at the intersection of US 701 North and SC 410. Taylor has not been seen or heard from since. 2 days later, when Taylor failed to attend church, a highly uncharacteristic move, another friend became concerned and repeatedly paged him. Eventually, the friend who was last seen with Taylor returned the call. Investigators suspect foul play in Taylor's disappearance, though few details are available. It has been 27 years since Taylor went missing in Huntingly. His case remains unsolved. Catherine Lowry was last seen on February 2, 1999, in Olive Branch, Mississippi. She lived on a 25-acre property on Center Hill Road with her 2 children, an 8-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son, and her boyfriend, Sheldon Wright Van Hoot, who was not the biological father of either child. She vanished on her daughter's birthday. Shortly afterward, Van Hoot took both children and relocated to a hotel in Cheyenne, Wyoming. He did not enroll them in school and instructed them not to leave the hotel during the day while he was at work. In October 1999, Lowry's daughter managed to escape and report that Van Hoot had been abusing her for months. He was convicted in 2000 of assault and sentenced to 6 life terms in prison. Investigators later discovered that Sheldon Wright Van Hoot was an alias. His real name was Stephen Troy DeLogg, and he had a disturbing history. He's also the prime suspect in the 1985 disappearance of his half-sister, Elizabeth Eisel. Eisel had been placed for adoption as an infant but reconnected with DeLogg as an adult. The two began an incestuous relationship, presenting themselves as a married couple, and Eisel even changed her name to Danielle DeLogg. In 1983, she gave birth to DeLogg's son, but by 1985, their relationship had soured, and Eisel disappeared from Bellevue, Washington. Authorities didn't begin investigating Lowry's disappearance until after DeLogg's arrest for abusing her daughter. By then, he had thoroughly cleaned the Mississippi residence, but investigators still found blood traces on the floors and walls. No clues pointing to Lowry's location were uncovered. DeLogg remains the main suspect in both Lowry's and Eisel's disappearances, though he has never been formally charged in either case. Foul play is strongly suspected, and both cases remain unsolved. Jessie was last seen in South River, New Jersey on January 20, 1998, and has not been heard from since. Authorities believe he may be with his non-custodial mother, Christina Mitchell. A felony warrant for her arrest was issued on January 21, 2000. She was born on June 19, 1971, and was 26 years old at the time of Jessie's disappearance. Mitchell is described as a Caucasian woman, 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing around 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. She may walk with a slight limp and is known to dye her hair different colors. She is also believed to use aliases, including Tammy White and Christina Ryan. Jessie's father, Ronnie Kasloff, is of Romani Gypsy heritage. He and Mitchell were married in a traditional Romani ceremony, though the marriage was never legally recognized under U.S. civil law. During an ongoing custody dispute, Ronnie was granted supervised visitation with Jessie for 2 hours per week. However, before the case could be settled in court, Mitchell and her parents fled with Jessie. Ronnie has accused authorities of failing to properly investigate the abduction due to his family's Romani background. Law enforcement acknowledged the difficulty in locating the child, citing the Romani community's insular nature and practices, such as avoiding formal education past 8th grade, not maintaining birth certificates or bank accounts, and often being uncounted in official census data. Despite questioning Mitchell's relatives, investigators reported that none admitted to knowing her or Jessie's whereabouts. Authorities believe both are likely using assumed identities and may be in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. As of 2025, Jessie's case remains unsolved.